Hi, I'm Vivienne.
And I'm Jason.
And this is Burger of the Week.
Each week we discuss an episode of the Fox animated series Bob's Burgers. And then we create a themed burger based on that episode.
This week we're discussing Season 1, Episode 9, Spaghetti Western and Meatballs. This episode was written by Kit Boss, which is a really cool name, by the way.
It's pretty boss.
Yeah. And the director was Wes Archer, so also pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
This episode aired originally on March 27th, 2011. And fun fact, spaghetti westerns are named that way because they were produced and directed by Italians.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I had no idea why spaghetti westerns were actually called that. I'm not really much of a western movie fan, so this trivia knowledge was like completely lost on me and kind of funny. And we didn't really have any new voice actors this week, but I did want to point out that John Roberts, who voices Linda, voiced Jocelyn. He does the voice of Jocelyn throughout the rest of the series, and that's Tina's friend, kind of.
Yeah, until we get introduced to the other friend.
Oh, yes.
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 So I didn't realize that John Roberts did Jocelyn.
Yeah, it took me a really long time to figure that out.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The store next door was STD Be Gone, which was a free clinic. And the exterminator van was, again, Rats All Folks. We only had one burger of the day for this episode, which was Shootout at the Okra Corral Burger.
I think some of my burgers might be able to beat that. It's cute. Okra is kind of gross, though.
I don't even know what it is.
It's a kind of vegetable. Yeah.
Like, is it like a lettucey thing?
No, it's like a weird, almost string bean looking type of thing. But
on a burger?
Yeah, I don't know. Just not a fan. Not a big fan of okra. Although I think it's very popular maybe in like the southern parts of the US. Maybe it's like a southern thing, like cornbread and that kind of stuff.
Well, I know my burgers are terrible and they'll beat that.
Okay. All right. You're feeling confident, but not. Self-deprecatingly confident.
Yeah.
Does that work?
It's a good dichotomy there.
Okay. So, Jason, do you have any initial thoughts before we get into the episode this week?
Absolutely. Every time I think of my top 10, maybe Bob's Burgers episodes, I never even think about this episode. But every time I watch it, I always love it. Absolutely love it. Almost everything about this episode I think is fantastic. And I always forget about it in my top. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay. We have very different opinions this week.
Good.
Which I guess is good. Personally, I'm not a big fan of this episode. I don't find that it has a very clear story. I feel like there's just way too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, I tend to forget the main plot of this episode every time I go back to it. I tend to forget about this episode in general, except for the ZD moment.
Of course.
Because it's a classic.
Yeah.
But I tend to forget about this episode, and then when I go back to it, I sort of go, oh, right, there's this going on, there's that going on, there's this going on. It's just a little messy, I think. Yeah. So this week, we decided to not do like a beat by beat, but instead to go through each person's story, I suppose. So we're going to start with the Louise story.
Louise feels crowded out of her special time with her dad when Jean and Bob bond over Banjo, a spaghetti western that Bob loves. Later, she feels ignored when Jean focuses his attention on a rival at school instead of spending time with his sister. Bob purchases the box set of Banjo movies, and Louise attempts to bond with her mother and sister. Louise's jealousy boils over the next day at school when she and Jean start a food fight in the cafeteria, which lands him in detention. Jean's rival challenges him to a fight, but he, Bob, and Louise run away from Choo Choo and his father. It's a great name for a bully.
Choo Choo, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's
It's great in its utter terribleness.
Yeah. Louise confesses to her father and brother that she was upset that they stopped spending time with her.
Yeah, so that's the main plot of this story.
Yeah, I see that.
Because there's the most attention paid to that. That's how we start the episode. It's not actually how we end the episode, which is a complaint of mine. I would prefer if we ended that way. But that's our emotional heart of our episode. Like, we have this great moment with them in the slide where Louise finally confesses like why she's been so jealous and frustrated with the two of them, because she feels misses her dad and she misses her brother and she wants to spend time with them. But she's also dealing with the jealousy of sharing, the father that she loves with siblings. It's not always easy. Speaking as someone with a sibling, it's sometimes a little bit hard to share that attention, especially when you're younger and you don't really know how to process those emotions into just, oh, well, it's fine if they have time with dad or mom. And I'll get my time with dad or mom. It's like, right. Oh, no, you're encroaching on something that's mine, and you feel very possessive of it.
Right. And I think that's one of my favorite aspects of this episode is seeing the vulnerable side of Louise.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's really sweet to see Louise spend time with her dad and spend time with Jean and actually want to be with them and get kind of emotional and have her little tears that, of course, she says are totally fake.
Yeah.
In the slide. It's really sweet. It is a nice moment. Like, I don't hate this episode. I'm not, like, saying it should burn in flames or anything like that. Yeah. But, yeah, I just think there's too much going on.
What about the episode do you find has too much? Because to me, there's a very straightforward progression of Louise with her dad, Louise with Jean, and then dealing with the situation, and then the final moments at the luncheon or the dinner.
I think as the show progresses, we start to have like an A plot and a B plot. So generally something going on with the kids and then something going on with the parents.
Right.
Or something to that effect. And one person gets to be the star of that episode. So there's lots of episodes where Tina's the star or Louise is the star and that's the story.
So you don't feel like there's a star?
I just feel like it might have been clearer if we weren't trying to do like Linda's revenge story and also Tina's jealousy with Jocelyn and Jimmy Jr. And I just felt like there was a lot of little moments and then you get...
And then the whole abs with Mr. Franz.
Yeah, and then you get Choo Choo and Jean and there's just a lot happening.
Everybody's in this episode. That's part of the reason I think I love it is because you get a little bit of everybody. You get some Tina, you get some Jean, you get some Linda. It's a full family episode. Every member of the family is in there somewhere and they all have something to do and nobody feels left out.
No, that's a really good point. Yeah. We're getting everyone has their own little story, which I think both of our opinions are valid. Like, it is a good episode. There's a lot of really funny moments in it, a lot of really great jokes.
Yeah.
And everybody gets a little bit of time to themselves in this episode, but I think it can feel a little overwhelmed with story.
A little crowded?
Times. Yeah, a little bit crowded. Yeah. I thought it was interesting that we gave the sort of like jealous sibling story to Louise instead of Jean. Because that's just them ignoring that middle child syndrome that you always hear about where... the middle child feels ignored or kind of like out of place because the eldest is supposed to be the one that, all the responsibilities are put on, which we see with Tina, like she has to work at the restaurant. And then the youngest child is the one that's like...
Gets babied.
Gets babied and kind of gets like a lot of attention. Sure. And then the middle child gets left behind. So that was sort of nice.
I thought it was fairly obvious because Jean just... doesn't care about too much. He's a really easygoing guy, so he wouldn't really feel jealous. He doesn't get upset easily with his siblings.
Yeah.
But there are other things that upset him. Like people finishing his jokes.
Yeah, that would be super annoying. This Choo Choo guy is the worst. And his dad, right up there with him.
He's basically cookie cutter Choo Choo, just grown up. He's Papa Choo.
Oh my god! Oh my god, Papa Choo? That's fantastic. I wonder if Jean would have been more jealous if it had been Linda. Because I don't feel like Bob and Jean are very close.
No.
And this continues on through the series. Like, I've noticed this, that the two of them don't have a lot of adventures together. They don't seem to have a ton in common. Like, Jean's jokes always kind of grate on Bob, and, you know, a lot of his jokes have to do with, of course, his keyboard and, like, silly sound effects and kind of shouting out things that are a little bit crazy. And I don't think Bob particularly connects with his humor.
Right, and we see that in this episode when he's trying to bond with Jean over playing catch, doing the musical stuff, and then he realizes, hey, we can bond over watching a movie that I like.
That I make Jean watch.
Yeah.
Which, who hasn't tried to do that at some point in their lives?
We've all tried to do that.
I get it, Bob. It's cool.
But yeah, I think Jean is more like Linda.
Yeah, and I think he tends to gravitate towards her, just like Louise gravitates towards Bob. You know, similar personality types, right?
Yep.
I like that Jean and Bob, like, the two of them are not typically masculine.
At
which
all.
is, yeah, exactly. Which is partly why I think maybe they struggle with this, like, finding their father-son dynamic and finding that activity that'll work for them, because Bob is clearly trying to do, like, these sort of masculine activities with him, like sports and stuff like that. And Jean has no interest, but Bob is also not very good at it. Bob doesn't have an
interest either.
And he doesn't really have an interest, so it's like Bob is trying to fill this role of, like, you know, this masculine dad who goes out and, you know, plays catch with his kid and that kind of thing. But that's not him. And then he's also failing as a dad in that way because he's not paying attention to what his child would like. Like, he's not doing something that Jean would enjoy. He's not going, oh, okay, well, let's try something musically out or whatever, you know? Yeah. So.
Bob doesn't seem to have very many hobbies.
No, he's really busy.
He works a lot.
I mean, he likes, obviously, terrible spaghetti western movies.
Wait, terrible?
Okay.
Banjo's a badass.
Banjo looked awful.
No. We can agree to disagree.
And we'll see in later episodes that he likes things like gardening.
That's true.
And, oh goodness, what else does he like? My God,
I'm drawing
Bob,
blank
get
right
some
now.
interests.
Yeah.
No, I think he doesn't have a lot of hobbies. You're right, because he doesn't have all that much time. But
another moment that I really liked of Louise's is you see how similar she is to Bob in the sense that she in the cafeteria she's doing food court.
Yeah.
She's talking with her food. And we learn that Bob loves making his food talk. So there's another great moment of bonding there. Like father, like daughter.
Oh, they're so alike, those
so
two.
Alike.
Yeah, I love them. They're fantastic. And also Food Court.
Food Court's fantastic.
The puns in this episode. The puns.
And the burn unit. I love their name.
Oh my God. And Bob's, like, insulting it, saying,
like, we have really terrible names for things.
No, you have fantastic names. Quiet your mouth. Although the Menstruation Nation is awful.
It's a little awful, but hilarious.
Yeah. I feel bad for Louise in this episode because I can see why she wouldn't exactly get along with Tina. Like, they're at very different stages in their lives. But also, I felt bad for her when she goes to Linda, and Linda doesn't even, like, think about, oh, hey, what would you like to do? She doesn't even offer, like...
No, she just starts freaking out about, oh, it's mommy-daughter time. Yay, that's so exciting. And then, oh my God.
That makeover, though. Oh, wow, it was bad, right?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Louise is not at that age where she wants to do that.
Yeah. And I don't think Louise will ever be.
That's true. She's
at
not
that point in her life. I don't think she's going to be interested in that kind of thing in the future. But mainly I just felt bad that Linda doesn't try to find something that they could both enjoy. She just goes straight for something that she knows she'll love.
Yeah.
Or that's very typically like mother-daughter type activity, which is exactly what Bob was trying to do with Jean, like father-son kind of activity.
So neither of the parents are really paying much attention to what they should do for their kids that their kids would like.
Mm-hmm. It's a relatable story, I think. Like,
yeah.
Personally, my mom did this kind of thing when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not like a very girly girl.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom is definitely a little bit more like that. So there were a lot of times where she would try to say, oh, well, let's go get like our hair done, or we could go get our nails done. And if you know me, I hate nail polish like so much. So much.
Get it off, get it off, get it off.
Exactly. So none of that appeals to me. And it was a little bit frustrating sometimes when you've got this idea in your mind of like what your mom should be like, or if you're a mom, what your daughter should be like, and what kind of relationship you're going to have with them. And then if they turn out to be different than you expect.
Yeah.
You know?
And to not be disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. And to love them for who they are instead of kind of trying to force what you love on them.
Yeah.
Right? Man, we're getting deep this episode.
Too deep.
Too deep.
Then we have, at the very end, we have the final bonding moment between Louise, Jean, and Bob in the slide, which is fantastic. How cute was it that Louise was trying to fart just so it sounded or smell like her dad's as well? I thought it was really cute.
Yeah.
It was a little gross, but it was still really cute.
Yeah, she's having that moment of like, no, but I'm still like you.
But I'm still like you. And then, it ends up smelling like her mom's. Of course.
Yeah. So
anyway,
sad.
I really liked that.
You really liked the fart.
I did, because Louise was trying so hard to prove that she's similar to her dad. Mm-hmm. So, I thought it was nice.
Yeah, she's still trying.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the Linda story. Mr. Fraun asks Linda to cater Tina's conflict resolution spaghetti dinner fundraiser. Linda is determined to beat last year's dinner and defeat her rival, Colleen Caviello, and her baked ziti.
It's a terrible name. It's like a mouthful in itself.
Yeah. She's frustrated when Mr. Fraun cancels the spaghetti dinner, but Bob makes it up to her by showing up to the fundraiser anyway. Mm-hmm. Okay, best part of the episode is definitely the, oh my god, I love this ziti.
It's so gross
like
and so fantastic. Part. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's like the only part of the episode I actually remember later on.
The great slow motion. Oh, it's so gross.
And what is up with all this ziti popping out of their mouths?
Piling out of her mouth.
Hello, close your mouth, you weirdo.
Oh my god.
No, Linda says it's like the worst day of her life.
I know.
Oh, that's definitely my favorite part of this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I got nothing.
No.
Linda's story to me was very one-dimensional. And it was very superficial. Didn't feel like it was necessary.
Okay.
Because nothing seemed to really happen in it. She showed up, Colleen, and provided dinner. And I guess that was a win for her.
Yeah.
She feels like she reclaimed her crown of, I don't know, proving to Colleen that she has what it takes to make a spaghetti dinner.
Yeah, we don't really get a lot of backstory on why she hates Colleen Caviello so much. Except for the fact that she's made apparently really good ziti and everybody loved it.
Yeah.
But I don't see why that should make Linda feel terrible like she does. I mean, I still love that scene. Nothing will make me hate that scene.
No, it's great.
But yeah, there's not really any kind of lesson or anything really going on there. And then we get to the end of the episode and Linda hasn't learned anything or really done anything. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of annoyed with her because she puts all of this pressure on Bob to make everything and she doesn't seem to be doing anything.
She doesn't help out.
No.
She's too busy like stewing.
Anyway, yeah, it was a little bit frustrating because I noticed Bob is making the meatballs. Bob seems to be cooking the spaghetti. Like, what are you doing, Linda? Are you making the sauce? Okay, you know what? I am assuming now that she made the sauce homemade because she was like complaining to Colleen Cavallaro.
I'm sorry,
you know?
Linda doesn't know how to cook. Bob's the cook of the house.
Linda knows how to cook. She made herself like a weirdly large plate of scrambled eggs in the first
Scrambled eggs is
moment.
not cooking.
Okay, fine. But anyway, I have to like imagine that she's doing something,
She's
or
gotta be
else
doing
I'm
something.
just frustrated with her for forcing Bob to make a massive free dinner just because she has a weird grudge against Colleen.
Maybe she.
No, Bob is the one who like assembles the meatballs and everything. We see him do it.
I thought we saw him grind it and then she did it. No. Okay.
No. He does everything.
Yep.
Linda, stop letting me
together,
down.
girl.
Stop letting me down. I'm so disappointed in you. You can do stuff. Make that sauce, girl. Anyway. All right. And our next story is Tina's story.
Tina is part of a conflict resolution club headed by Mr. Frond. The guidance counselor created the ABS program, Access Your Feelings, Be Apologetic, and Slap It. The ABS system was used to help students deal with conflict. Tina loses her cool during the fundraiser and attacks her classmate Jocelyn.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's Tina's story.
That's Tina's story.
There's not a lot going on there. And pretty much all I have to say about it is this program sucks. I agree with Bob, and he's like, this is terrible, and we should not be doing it. Because what even is going on here?
Mr. Frond is trying so hard to be cool and connect with the students and be hip and down with it and use the lingo that kids use, and he's trying so hard that he completely misses what students actually care about.
Yeah.
And that's not lame things that like this.
Yeah. What's with the slap it? I mean, it's just dumb, right?
Slap it.
But
of course he slaps his butt.
Yeah. I don't know. I admire his obvious desire to give like students some sort of conflict resolution training, you know, like a way to sort of deal with everyday conflicts.
Right,
and
without
their
violence.
own emotions. But it clearly doesn't work. And not only that, but this is not how you do conflict resolution. It's just bad. No one feels heard. You're apologizing because you feel like you need to apologize, not because you actually feel sorry. And then slapping it? That's not a resolution. Anyway.
That's like hugging it out at the end.
Yeah, but it's just
high five
terrible.
me, bro. We resolved this situation.
Did you, though?
No. What did you think about Tina's jealousy? I see Tina being jealous, and we've seen it before. But it just seemed a little bit too aggressive.
Yeah, it seemed kind of shoehorned in just so we could start like another fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand Jimmy Jr. and Tina sometimes because it's like they have
On
feelings
again,
for each
off
other,
again.
but they don't. And that's not my like middle school experience, is when people tended to like each other, they would actually just date, even if they were really young. They didn't have this like weird, oh, we kissed at your party this one time, but then I'm gonna like not talk to you.
That's funny because that's how it was like for me.
Oh, really?
In elementary, I guess. But not like 7 and 8, Tina's age. It was more for grade 6 and grade 5. People were like, quote unquote, dating.
Yeah.
Holding hands one week, and then it was somebody else the next week. And then they were back with another person, and nobody really knew. And it was like, oh, are they together this week? And oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Who's keeping track?
Maybe I didn't have the typical middle school experience. I was not one of these people dating people, but I remember.
Oh, no, neither was I. Gasp.
Oh.
Heaven forbid.
Shush. Yeah, no, I didn't start dating till like grade 10. Yeah, which seems weirdly young now that I'm thinking about it.
That seems weirdly late.
Okay, fine.
Hey,
rude.
I wasn't till grade 10 either, so.
What, really?
Or maybe 11.
I thought you started dating in grade 12, Mr. Late Bloomer.
Well, I don't know.
No.
Who can keep track these days?
Okay, well, Yeah, it just seems like a weird relationship. And then for her to get very, very jealous of Jocelyn felt kind of weird, I guess. It doesn't feel like the Tina that I've grown to know and love.
It's not the Tina we've grown up with.
No.
8 episodes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't seem true to her character.
I agree with you there. Yeah.
And what about Jean's story?
Okay, I get why he hates this choo-choo guy, because, like, how annoying is that?
Yeah.
But I find it a little frustrating that he continues after he's already kind of put him in his place.
Oh, I totally get it. Because he's claimed his dominance, which is kind of silly. But he's like, now I have the power. I'm the one who can, push you down, and I'm kind of in control of the situation right now. So he feels that power, so he continues to abuse it.
Okay.
And it all comes crumbling down when Choo-Choo wants to fight him.
Yeah, because Jean is not physically strong.
He's a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Jean is soft, okay?
he's soft physically and emotionally.
Yeah, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with being soft.
No, he's like his dad.
Yeah. Neither of them want to fight.
His dad says very clearly, it's not that we're running away. We're respectfully declining their invitation. Right.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
One thing about this episode, animation-wise, that I really noticed, when Jean was doing his stares, throughout the episode, it felt very similar to home movies.
Oh.
I know I keep bringing up home movies, but there are so many similarities that it's hard not to. But his face is very reminiscent of a lot of the characters, the way their mouths are drawn and animated. They're almost over-exaggerated. And Bob's, from season 2 onward, really dials it down. They almost completely get rid of the loose animation style that they're doing right now.
Okay.
And if you watch episodes in season 7 right now, and you pay attention to their mouths, you can see that there's not a lot of variation. And in contrast to the first season, if you pay attention to their mouths again, there's a lot of hand-drawn, frame-by-frame over-exaggeration. They really blow it out. So it's kind of neat to watch, especially in this episode. There's a lot of squiggly lines, very unrealistic in the way his face kind of moves. So I thought it was kind of neat. And I never noticed it since. So it was just in this episode.
Interesting.
It was kind of neat.
Yeah. I actually took screen caps of his different faces. I think I'm going to post them on Twitter because they're fantastic. Just his attempt at, like, the icy banjo stare, like, they're just perfect. Yeah. They're great. I mean,
it's
as much
what
as
Jean thinks is intimidating.
Yeah.
It's great.
As much as Jean kind of confuses me and annoys me in this episode sometimes, because maybe I'm just identifying a little too much with Louise. I do love his icy stare. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, do you want to get to our burgers of the week?
Let's do it.
All right, so my first burger this week is
Whoa, let's back it up.
What?
Are they any good? Because mine aren't.
They're not bad.
I had a really hard time this episode.
I did too, actually. It took me quite a while to figure out what to do. They're not great. They're not bad. I don't know. I'm going to judge based on your reaction if they're good or not.
I kept trying to shy away from spaghetti-themed burgers because it just seemed too in your face.
Yeah.
And that would be disgusting.
Yeah. I actually looked up, like, okay, does anyone even try to do spaghetti burgers? And instead of having some sort of like, oh, here's spaghetti on top of your patty and then a bun, it was patties made out of spaghetti.
Oh.
Like, smushed together and I guess hardened enough that you could actually keep them. Yeah, It just seemed gross.
No, I'm good.
Not a fan. No.
Okay.
Okay, so my first burger this week is the Provolone Ranger.
That's really good.
Yep. It would be a meatball patty with breadcrumbs. So like breadcrumbs and spices and whatever you put in meatballs. I don't know. I don't eat that stuff. It would have garlic aioli and provolone cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We might as well just stop here because that's pretty good.
Come on.
No, that's really
okay,
good. I like
okay. All right. Tell me yours.
I had the Flanjo burger.
What? What's a flanjo?
Because it's banjo, but flan. You know what flan is?
Ew, on a burger?
I know, right?
Flan is like a dessert.
It's like a dessert,
What
right?
the hell?
So maybe
That's just terrible
maybe
in
it's
a
just
great
maybe it's
way.
not actually a burger. Maybe it's just shaped like a burger.
Oh,
so you kind of mold
a
the flan.
dessert burger.
Right.
Okay, you're
So, like,
introducing a whole new category here. That's interesting.
DQ introduced the Treatza pizza, so I can
Oh.
introduce the Flan Joe burger.
Good point, and we should all model our lives after Dairy Queen.
Well, if that could be my god, then I would pray to Dairy Queen.
Okay. Alrighty. So what would be on your flanjo burger? Would it just
It
literally
would just be flan. It would probably be like cut or carved into a burger shape. And just,
That's it? Where's the banjo part of it?
It's just because the name.
Okay, alright.
Whatever.
Okay. You only had 2 this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have 3. So we'll just see how that goes.
Okay.
Alright, I had the green-eyed lobster. Kind of like the green-eyed monster, like jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it would be a lobster patty with bacon, salsa.
Bob can't make that burger.
Shh. We don't know that yet.
We're pretty sure.
Spoilers. But also, he could get Linda to make it. Whatever.
Okay.
He could get Linda to make the patty.
I've already stated she's not a cook. Okay.
That is your headcanon about
Yeah,
Linda?
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so it would be a lobster patty with bacon, salsa, lettuce, and mayo. Okay, and I definitely found this burger online. It's not called that at all. It's just called, like,
Sure.
a lobster burger. But it's by Jamie Oliver, and I'm going to put the recipe in our show notes because...
Well, if it's by Jamie Oliver, then none of us can make it.
No.
But it's probably delicious.
Yeah. It looks really good if you're into that kind of thing. So definitely check it out if a lobster BLT/burger sounds delicious to you. Yes. Okay, what's your second burger?
My second and final burger is the exclusion burger.
Aww.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
Louise feels excluded from her dad and Jean, and so it would be a burger with an egg on it. A fried egg.
I love how your recipes are just so creative.
Yep.
Aw.
Maybe some barbecue sauce too.
Okay. Alrighty.
I was going more for the names and the ingredients this week.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay. And my last one is called the Banjo Ranchero Burger. So it would have, it would be a beef patty with fried egg, tortilla chips, salsa, and cheddar. So it would kind of be like huevos rancheros, just like an egg, bean, tortilla,
like a
stuff.
Mexican-y thing.
Yeah, it's what I had in New York that you were like, man, I wish I got that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. That was
that's what
really
I got.
good.
It was really good. So a Banjo Ranchero burger would probably be delicious with a side of beans. I just added that now, Jason.
That's good.
Yeah.
If anybody lives in New York City,
Well, technically it was Brooklyn.
Okay, near Brooklyn. And what was it, the living room or
Bushwick's living
Bushwick's,
room, something
yeah.
like that. Anyway, they had amazing
Oh my God, it was
huevos
so good.
rancheros. It was
I had
fantastic.
like a bite and it was very good.
Yeah. I wish I could recreate how good it was. All right, Jason, so do you want to pick your favorite of mine? I'll pick my favorite of yours, and then we duke it out? Or
I
what
like
do you want
your
to do?
first one.
The Provolone Ranger?
I do. I really like that.
You think that one should just win?
I think
like,
I should
hands
just
down?
win hands down.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, if you're going to concede, then...
I mean, unless you think one of mine beats yours, then...
I mean, I think the Flanjo burger is, like, the funniest thing I've heard today.
Oh, today. Oh, that's great. Uh-huh.
I'm like... The funniest thing I've heard in the last 5 minutes.
That's
Sorry, I
fine.
didn't mean to make such a dig at you.
That's fine.
But yeah, let's just go with that, I guess. That works fine. It's very Western
The Provolone
themed.
Ranger. It's great.
It's cute.
It's good.
For
good
sure.
thinking. This is Burger of the Week, a Multiverse radio production. Thanks so much for listening, and if you like our show, please leave a rating and review on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. Like, really.
Like a ton.
Like a burger ton.
Yeah. We like to know, what you guys think of the show. If you think that there's anything that we can improve on, like send us a tweet.
Or if you really don't like this
email.
Burger of the Week idea, we can just scrap it.
Yeah, totally. If you're just like, go home, stop talking, go away, I don't like you, then, we'll just don't listen to our show.
Yeah, send us a message and we'll totally ignore it.
Yeah, because why are you listening anyway?
If you have any comments or a punny burger name you'd like to share, you can find us on Twitter at Multiverse Radio or Facebook at Multiverse Radio Podcast. You can also visit our website, multiverseradio.ca. See you next Sunday for a review of episode 10, Burger Wars.
Yeah, I always get this episode mixed up with the
Family Fracas?
No, I get this one mixed up with the video game Burger Wars.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what this one's about because I don't really remember right now.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll meet you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Meet you next week? Oh my god. You did that on purpose, didn't you?